Hey, welcome back. We're doing some AP stats, going through the stats medic lessons. We're in the middle of, or actually wrapping up 4.2. We're going to talk about different ways you can design an experiment. I'm Mr. Hayes. I work here at West Chicago High School and walking you through this. Remember, the notes are below. If you have any questions, throw me a comment or two or three. Likes are great. Subscriptions are better. I don't know, whatever the YouTubers say these days. Anyway, so the last part, we're going to go back to the SAT prep. And so the situation is this. Our high school, or a high school, this just happens to be mine, has decided to offer an SAT prep class again this year. It will be offered in two different formats, ironically, online and classroom teacher, which we are all too familiar with these days. The counselors want to know which teaching method will yield higher SAT scores, as they will, so they allow us to set up an experiment for them. 50 students have signed up to take some sort of form of the SAT prep. 20 seniors are in a part of it, and 30 juniors are. So the goal here is, oops, got my extra lights. So the goal here is we're going to talk through some different things that we may want to do using some of the other ideas that we've used in previous chapters. So first of all, outline a completely randomized design. I'm doing this separately because I think building these outlines on their own are important. And in fact, if you want to sketch one out in pencil first, hit pause, and then we can double check it and fix it as we go. Because again, remember, when we do these normally, I would be giving them to you. You'd be in small groups, so you wouldn't be alone. You guys would be talking about them together, and then I would be circulating around the room and helping kind of push and mold them as we go. So what we're going to do first, we've got 50 students. What's the first thing that we always do if it's going to be completely random? Random assignment. We don't have to go into detail about that because we are going to, it's one of those things where you're going to figure, okay, we know what it is, so when we actually do it, we'll go through and do it. This is basically storyboarding is what it comes down to. So if you're familiar with that concept, or if you've seen any of that, where you kind of lay out different shots of a scene or of a movie. So we're going to take 25 students up here in group 1. Group 2, same thing. Remember that random assignment is going to keep those groups relatively similar. And so we're going to give them treatment 1. And I think, as I said last time, I tend to do it in the order that I have it so I don't amend it. So again, online classroom. So treatment 1 will become online. Treatment 2 will be teacher. And then we are going to compare the scores. Pretty basic. Okay, so your hopes are that you're going to have pretty much the seniors and juniors are going to be somewhat equally distributed between these two groups. Anything else in terms of obviously desire, if their parents are making them, that type of thing will be spread out equally between those two. So that's just a completely randomized design. Now, counselors decide or start thinking, the online classroom results could be affected by whether or not we've got juniors or seniors in the group, because obviously their desire or need, if they're seniors in the group, maybe they need to get better test scores, right? So we know generally seniors score better than the SAT than juniors because obviously they've had more classroom experience on some of those topics. So how could we adjust the experiments to see that there's an even split of juniors and seniors in each class? So for this, I'm going to start a little bit more over here. So I've got 50 students. And we're going to break them into our 20 seniors and our 30 juniors. So it's kind of stratified. We're going to call it something different, but it's you're breaking them down. So we're going to make sure that each group gets it. We're going to go through another random assignment. Okay. And after we randomly assign them, you're going to break them down again, just like we did up here, into two groups. Okay. So we're going to have group 1A, and that's going to be, again, this case, 10 people. And down here, we're going to have group 2A, and that's going to be 10 people. Notice you have to have a lot of space for some of these. So then that's going to be group 1B, and that's going to have 15 people in it. This one I'm going to have group 2B, and that's going to have 15 people in it. All right. And then you're going to go through the treatment. So these people are going to do treatment 1 online. This is going to be treatment 2, and that's going to be teacher. And then treatment 1 online. Do you have to write all this out? Absolutely. You can leave no doubt to the reader of your, I lost my screen. You have to leave no doubt to the person reading your test that you know what you're talking about. Okay, and so then you're going to compare these results. You're going to compare these results. So then that way you know, is there a difference between online teaching for the seniors and online and teacher for the juniors? And then you're going to, again, compare the results there. All right. This up here, as we talked about, let me get a different color. Actually, so this is completely, yep, okay, just making sure I'm still on the screen. Completely randomized design, as it was said up here. And then down here, remember what we did. We split it up by grades first, and then random. Okay. Ooh, I forgot the word. What is that? It's not a conjunction. Figure that out later. Okay. And this is actually called randomized block design, because you're taking blocks of similar people and then splitting them up. Now down here, counselors are worried that the student's GPA is going to affect their ACT score. Let's look at only the juniors. So we want to be sure that the different GPAs are going to be evenly distributed into the 2 treatment groups. How do we go about doing that? Okay. So what you do then, in this case here, so again, you're going to go through and you're going to kind of think through this. So think about it. So we got these 30 juniors, and we're going to line them all up. Lowest GPA to the highest GPA. How do you make sure that we get a similar distribution of GPAs in both the online and the teaching groups? And so what you end up doing here is you're going to order all students, as I said, by GPA. From least to greatest. That's an ugliest. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take the top 2 students with the highest GPA, highest GPAs, and pair them. And then you're going to do some sort of random thing. So we're just going to flip a coin. Okay, so flip a coin to assign 1 to the online and 1 to the teacher. So again, you just have it. So the highest GPA, you flip it heads. If it comes up heads, they go to online. If it comes up tails, they go to the teacher. And then the other person does whatever's left. Okay. And then you're going to go through and you're going to repeat this process with the next 2 highest GPAs. until all the students are assigned. Okay, so that's called matched pairs. Got to get my other color. So there's still an element of randomness in terms of who gets what, but you're making sure that whatever you want to control for and sorting by, you kind of say go, and it's not just you saying, okay, you go here, you go here, you go here, you go here. There has to be some element of randomness behind it, again, because that's going to help control for what we talked about last time in terms of, all the different variables that might be outside of your control. All right, we're going to formalize these three concepts, particularly these last two, here in a second. So again, I have the link for that down below. And then 4.2 is done. We now know how to design experiments. So we'll see you soon.